this is Rachel with Short and Sweet Reviews, and I'm going to be talking about the new trailer that just came out technically last night, but by itself this morning, of kind of the theatrical experience of The Chosen Season 3. It's going to be the first 2 episodes of the season, so you get a 2-in-1, which is very exciting, especially with how long we've waited. And with that, I'm going to get right into sort of a rundown of some of the trailer, as well as just my thoughts of what we see, and some theories and speculations, because we don't know for sure most of them. So starting off, we have a Jesus and Judas interaction, which just those interactions I feel like will be very interesting. Of course, knowing what we know if you read the book. And I wonder if the Chosen will almost find a way for us to almost forget about how it ends, or like where Judas is going. Because overall they have him as like a very likable guy, but I don't know, I wonder if there'll come a point where we can almost just watch him as a normal disciple, like all the others, without that being the back of our mind. But we'll see. But right now you definitely have that kind of tenseness with the music anyways of this Jesus and Judas interaction. And you can see the earnestness that Judas has. Like, he's not going into this, at least in the show, with like these bad or like ulterior motives. He just sees he's the Messiah and wants to, or at least is very moved by his words and wants to join him. And you kind of have, I think, Jesus asking Jews to follow him, at least theoretically. You don't see him actually say it, it's just voiceover, so that's always a maybe. And we get to hear more of the sort of iconic preaching and words that Jesus has spoken in different sermons and everything, which is very interesting to see what kind of context they'll be in, because that's a big thing for the Chosen, not just having him randomly preach sermons per se, but having like a story around them. So we'll see how that goes. And we also, at least from what it looks like, see a Simon Z, or Z, whatever you want to call him, interaction with Atticus. So that should be really interesting, because at first, like, you had him very suspicious of him, and knowing that he was a zealot, but also seeing how he turned from that. So that should be interesting of how that dynamic and interaction is gonna go, at least if I saw that right. And then you have what looks like kind of the calling of the apostles, or like the sending out 2 by 2. You have them all in this kind of like group huddle circle thing going on. It should be interesting to see what that fully involves, like if it's right before them being sent out, or them coming back, or just totally unrelated to either of those things I mentioned. But we'll see how that goes. And you have sort of a little almost kind of romantic moment between Simon and Eden, and from what seems like, and also just from what we've heard, their marriage is definitely going to be a big part of season 3, so it'll be interesting of how that storyline goes. There's definitely some theories as to what that could be that I'm not going to go into. But it'll be interesting what that overall story arc will go, and if that will almost earn Eden the face of the season 3 DVD, if you know what that's talking about. And next, we kind of get a tease of, I believe it was Andrew. It looks like it was Andrew talking with John the Baptist in prison, and I'm really interested of what they're going to do with that, because you can kind of forget that some of Jesus, at least a couple of Jesus's disciples, were previously John's, and how they might feel about everything going on, and maybe they did have interactions with him after they went to follow Jesus. And especially in the context of this show, Andrew sort of freak out when John was arrested, and knowing how big that this arrest could be. And last thing that I'll talk about is you kind of have this moment of Jesus and Thomas hugging, and just like Thomas being very happy and excited. So I'm curious if that's maybe them talking about Thomas and Raina, because at least from some of the clips that they showed, it definitely looks like that they're going in the direction of them fully moving on to romance and what those next steps would look like. And I don't know if it's quite like him getting Jesus's blessing per se, however you want to put it, or just him talking about her and where they stand so far, and just an overall sweet moment between, it's like, oh, I'm just so happy that you're with someone. And for all I know, it could be a completely different moment. It could be something else wonderful happened, or like them coming back from the 2x2. But that's sort of my theory going on, that has something to do with him and Raina. But I guess we will see, and since it's in the first 2 episodes, I guess we'll see in the theater what all those are about, which is very exciting because it's quickly approaching. And with that, that's all for now. Thank you.